There's nothing like the anticipation of the holidays. You climb up a teetering ladder to hang a garland or wreath or a string of lights that you somehow value more than your own neck, but it's more than just decor. And when you look at the string of lights or the flickering of a seasonal candle, you can find a twinkle in your own eye that makes you feel like a kid again. But then when the actual holiday arrives, it doesn't always live up to the hype, and you can be left with a hollow feeling. How do we fill this cultural cup at the holidays? With holidays that celebrate our inherent value as human beings, a value that has no price and needs no permission. And I think that's something worth celebrating. Hello and welcome to the 8th video in my ABC video essay series. Today, for the letter H, we're going to talk about how to have happier holidays. Specifically, how to make holidays more than patriotic flags and the contents of plastic shopping bags. I love the holidays, and I especially love gathering with friends or family to share a beautiful meal. But what do we do once our plates are empty? Hopefully there are some board games to play, but I find that too often we're just turning on the television or returning to the buffet table for one too many slices of dessert or pie, or for some people it's one too many drinks, but it all comes down to the same thing. There's a void that we need to fill. I'm talking about a void in our human culture, a metaphorical cultural cup. So how do we fill this cultural cup at the holidays? This is easier said than done if the horn of plenty at your fall harvest table is accompanied by presumably patriotic pilgrims, and when you might as well have Jeff Bezos climbing down your chimney instead of Santa, which is a disturbing thought to say the least. While we still think of holidays as cultural, in America especially, political and economic forces have been taking over holidays for a long time. And this actually is a big deal, because if our holidays are too full of capitalist consumption and patriotic propaganda, we can actually forget why holidays are important. That holidays are quite literally a matter of life and death. Much like every year of our lives brings us closer to the grave, every day of the year brings us closer to the dark days of winter as we spin around on a rock in space with no obvious purpose. So how are human beings supposed to cope with our still relatively unknown position and function in the universe and just our mortality? Well, just like our birthdays allow us to flip the script on aging and actually celebrate the passing of our lives, holidays do the same thing for the passing of the year. With every season, with every long winter, we gather to announce that we beat the odds, that we're still here, and what's better, some of us at least are still together. Holidays allow us to rise out of the daily grind and connect with some greater meaning in life beyond just mere survival. It may seem strange to think about celebrating holidays right now, where in many cases the world is literally on fire around us. But holidays are way more than just fun or entertainment, and they actually tap into these powerful themes of meaning and mortality and our fundamental humanity. Holidays can strengthen our ties to the past, to the seasons around us, and to our communities. And these are the ties that compel us to care and motivate us to work together. But this cultural value of the holidays can almost be lost if we allow patriotism and consumerism to take over our holidays. I was thinking about this a lot during the very, very long summer that we have here in Virginia. Summer is not my favorite season anymore, but it still offers a lot that I love to celebrate. The ocean water is warm enough to swim, there are berries and peaches that are ripe to eat, and there are beautiful flowers that I can even enjoy outside when it is 100 degrees and 100% humidity and I am surrounded by ravenous mosquitoes. And I also want to celebrate that I am surviving all this and I haven't succumbed to heat stroke yet. And because summer feels harder to survive than winter, which is true in a lot of places now with climate change, I really want a good holiday to see me through that season. Yet summer, where I live in America, only comes with one major holiday, the 4th of July. And even though we can do seasonal things on the 4th of July, we can swim and eat berries and go outside, the actual meaning of this holiday is nationalist. Even today, when we have a literal Nazi orangutan as our American president, I won't say that it's wrong to celebrate your country or your flag. You could even see the 4th of July and the American flag as hope for a better America and a better future. But I think that holidays should also remind us that our human value is greater than our citizenship, and that there's more to celebrate in a season than just the founding of our country. And if we go through a whole season with only one patriotic holiday, we can actually lose touch with the passage of time and what this means for our own lives. Of course, the 4th of July does have a second meaning, a meaning that many American holidays share, an economic meaning. Sales, shopping sprees, and limited time offers abound as corporations and businesses capitalize on our holidays. Don't just go out and pick some berries or flowers. You need to buy these matching plates and mini flags and fireworks on a cocktail stick. They're buy one, get one free. Of course, going out and buying things isn't bad, and we could even be supporting local artisans or buying materials to make something ourselves. But the point is that our holidays should be more than just consuming. Holidays can and should remind us that we have value beyond buying and selling, producing and consuming. In fact, we have inherent human value that cannot be bought, sold, monetized, or even taken away. And that is the power of holidays, to affirm our inherent human value and our power to make our own meaning on this crazy rock spinning through space. It's up to you what holidays you celebrate and how you do it, but I personally find that I need to be intentional about the holidays so that I'm not just sucked up into a vortex of patriotic flags and plastic shopping bags. So I'll share with you a few questions that I like to ask to be more intentional about the holidays, and I hope that these can help to make your holidays a little more meaningful and a little happier. And the questions are going to be in 3 categories: how we can connect with the past, with our ancestors, how we can connect with the seasons, and how we can connect with our community. So let's start with our ancestors, and this could just be your recent ancestors or ancestors long past. Our current cultural memory is in many cases very short, and it can even be hard for us to remember a time before the iPhone, let alone before refrigeration or global mass transit. It's easy to forget that things haven't always been done the way they're done today. But holidays can help us with this and remind us of our context in time. You can even find remnants of ancient rituals lining the shelves of Walmart, like coloring eggs to symbolize rebirth, or carving vegetables to ward away wayward spirits, or leaving out offerings for elves and gnomes, much like giving cookies to Santa. But we can deepen this cultural connection if we ask ourselves, how did our ancestors do things 100, 500, 1,000 years ago before things like big box stores and electronics? This could be as simple as interviewing family members and looking up recipes, or even going into online archives and seeing what your ancestors may have been doing in the past. And of course, you don't have to take on exactly what they did, but you can use it to inform and maybe even transform the way that you celebrate your holidays. And the second category is seasons. So we can be so detached from the seasons, especially when we can buy strawberries at the store at any time of year, and electricity and even daylight savings time have us really disconnected from the natural cycles of light. So the first question we can ask is the light outside growing or fading? And this is at the center of a lot of ancient holidays. So we can celebrate the light in really simple ways, like a bonfire in a safe way. Don't start any forest fires, please. Also, safe burning of candles, or it could be twinkly lights, or you can even just go outside to watch the sunrise and the sunset. And another super easy way to get in touch with the seasons is just through our food. For example, I've seen a lot of Christmas recipes that use green and red foods like cucumbers or tomatoes, but at least in the northern hemisphere where I live, those are summer foods. So getting more in touch with what's actually seasonal at that time of year can really help you connect with what is happening in nature. And that brings us to our third category of our current community. So when we gather together for the holidays, we're not always really connecting with each other. And yes, I'm talking about screens. Devices like televisions and smartphones take away our attention from the people who are actually around us. So first we can ask, how can we limit screens on the holidays? And I know that not all families are going to be down for this. So all of these suggestions, and maybe especially screens, you might want to try at an additional friend gathering. And then once the screen is off, just ask how you can be more active together. And that might seem overwhelming, but it could also actually make the holidays easier, because one of the things you can do together is decorate the space and cook, and you don't have to have it all perfect before people come over. You can make that part of the holiday celebration. Or you can do other things, like artistic activities, crafts, board games, really anything where you're actually participating together. You could even ask your family or your friends if they want to try celebrating a new holiday, or even create one that never existed before. A lot of people celebrate Galentine's Day, but my husband and I also added on a summer Parks and Rec Day that we celebrate, where we just eat breakfast food and maybe do something that reminds us of a character in Parks and Rec, and try to hang out with our friends, since we really love the celebration of friendship in that show. And I've also gotten together with some friends to celebrate the summer solstice and the autumn moon. And these are celebrations that I really hope to return to again and again. And that way we can be forming our own traditions. Connecting with community builds the bonds that help us not only survive the current season, but also build a better future. And this brings us back to the cultural significance of holidays, that we have cultural power. And if we build our courage and our resilience in our culture, we can take that same momentum into our economic and political work. And this work is all the more powerful if we can fuel it with happier holidays, with holidays that celebrate our inherent value as human beings, a value that has no price and needs no permission. And I think that's something worth celebrating. So this year, as you prepare for the holidays, I hope you'll ask some of these questions, and more importantly, I hope you'll ponder what culture means to you and what you want that to look like in your family and your community. And I hope that happier holiday celebrations will help you affirm your inherent value as a human being as you spin through space on this rock we call Earth. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of my video. I really hope this can be helpful to you, and I would love to hear from you in the comments below. What do you enjoy about the holidays? What makes your holidays happier? And what deeper meaning do you find in holiday celebrations? And please take a look through the other comments as well. I have just been blown away by this community. On my last video, Get Weird to Survive Late Stage Capitalism, I learned so much from the comments, and I feel so inspired by your creativity and your knowledge. And so I really look forward to seeing what you have to say. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Unenlightened Generalists. And you can also save my ABC video series so that you'll be notified of future video essays. Thank you. Have a lovely day and really happy holidays.